should do like a shot game. Every time Cindy says so excited, take a shot. Hey guys, it's Cindy. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul for the month of May. So I actually haven't done a book haul I think in a couple of months. So it is quite a few books, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into it because I don't want this video to be extra long, because lately my Wi-Fi has not been wanting me to upload long videos. I uploaded a book vlog like a week or two ago, and it literally took like 2 days for me to upload that vlog. So jumping right in, I'm going to start off with a couple of books that I actually got for free this month. And the way that I got these for free were because my sister and I were actually walking to go get some coffee, and we stopped by our local bookstore that we love going to for book signings and different events, and they actually had a couple of books sitting out. They had quite a few books sitting out, and we picked up a couple of the ones that we wanted because they were all for free. So I have 2 ARCs along with 2 finished copies. So the 2 finished copies were Gunslinger Girl by Lindsay Eli, and this is actually like a James Patterson Presents novel, and I was actually going to pick this up a couple of months ago, but I decided not to, and I'm actually really happy that I didn't pick it up because I got it for free, and it only has like a couple of bruises dents and bruises on it, but it's actually not that bad of a condition, especially since it was once again for free. So I got this one. The book I got was actually one that both me and my sister both picked up because they had 2 copies. This one again was like a little torn up. I guess they just got rid of them because they were like kind of scratch and dents, and they didn't want to sell them. So this is Flight Season. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce her last name, but it's Marie Marquardt. So I picked this one up, and this is like quite a new release, so I'm really excited to have picked this one up. I haven't heard anyone talking about this one. Next 2 books are ARCs. The first one is Mariam Sharma Hits the Road, and I absolutely love this cover, and it is a road trip novel, so I'm really excited about this one. And this one comes out in June of this year. And then this one comes out this month, and it is From Twinkle with Love, and I'm so excited to have gotten my hands on this because I really want to read this. And this is actually on my TBR for the month, which I'm not doing that great on, but we'll talk about that for my wrap up. So I picked this one up as well. So the one book that I got off of Book Depository was The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I have heard quite a lot of people talk about this, and I decided to pick it up from Book Depository because it was a lot cheaper. It is like a smaller paperback. You guys know how Book Depository has their like smaller UK paperbacks. So the next book is actually a new release for this month. I picked it up because I had plans to go to a book signing, but then I found out that you could only get it signed if you had bought it there, and I didn't want to buy it and then try to return my other copy. So I just decided that I was going to just keep the book and not get it signed. Hopefully I'll get to see her again. I've already seen her before and gotten my other books from her signed. So this is Leon the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. This is a book that takes place in the same world as the Love, Simon book, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and I absolutely love that book, and this has to do with one of his best friends named Leah. I love this cover. I was thinking about doing like makeup looks on my channel, and I want to do one based off of this cover because it's just so beautiful and colorful, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. But yes, this is one that I picked up from my local Books A Million. And if you watch my reading vlog, I was on a giant hunt to get this book. So next I have one that has taken BookTube by storm. It has been absolutely everywhere. Everyone loves it. I haven't read anything by this author before, and it is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is probably one of the most beautiful books that I own, both naked and with the sleeve on. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love anything black and gold, and this book is absolutely beautiful. It does take place in like a fae world, and I haven't read anything about fairies before, so this is like totally messing up my lighting, but I'm so excited to pick this one up. Sorry if I'm not giving too much of a background on the books that I picked up. I actually really like going into books and not knowing too much about them. I like to be completely like blown away and just surprised with what actually happens in the novel. So the next thing I picked up, well actually my best friend bought this for me because if you guys don't know, I graduated this month with my bachelor's in biology. I'm still taking a Maymester class that ends on the 30th of May, and I'm so excited because it's been hell. And he picked this book up for me because everybody was giving me like graduation presents and stuff, and I wasn't expecting anything from anyone, so I was like super excited with like the things that I did get. It was mostly money. People took me out, well, my family took me out to eat. But my best friend got me this along with a purse. And this is Ringer by Lauren Oliver. So it is the second book in the, I think it's the Replica series. I do have Replica on my fantasy shelf up there somewhere, but I have not read it yet. So I think I'm just gonna like binge both of these together. I think this book is absolutely stunning. And I love the concept of being able to read it from either way. So you can read it from Gemma's perspective or from Lyra's perspective, and it just like flips. And I think this book is absolutely stunning, and I'm so excited to get into the series. So that day I also picked up a couple. I picked up 4 books that were at HPB that day. So the first book is one that I've heard great things about, and my sister actually just had to read this one for a required reading for her class, and it is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. And I'm so excited to read this one because I've heard so many people talk about it, and I got it for only $2 at HPB. And then the next one is one that I don't believe I've read anything from Sarah Dessen yet, and I know she's like a really good contemporary writer. I'm not sure if she writes YA or if she writes adult. I think she writes both. And I picked up Saint Anything from her, and it was only $2. Now the next 2 books I picked up were ones that I had been eyeing and I was going to pick up eventually. So the first one was The Last Samsara. If you know, I picked this one up from our library haul a couple months ago, but I just wasn't able to read it. And this is by Kristen Ciccarelli, and I picked it up for $8.99, and I thought that was a really good price. I know this has to do with a fantastical world where there are dragons, and that's super exciting. So yeah, I picked that one up. I didn't want to end that with, so I'm so excited. Then the next book is a stunning book as well, and this is Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. Once again, this one was $8.99. I think Emma Mills has such like beautiful covers, and I've been hearing a lot of buzz about her lately. So this is what her cover looks like without the dust jacket. I think this is so pretty. I want to do like an Instagram row of like only naked books, because I think there have been some that have come out recently that have been really stunning. So I just gave a presentation in class today, and then I'm like sitting down to record like a sit down video, and lately I've only been doing like vlogging style videos, so I'm like so out of breath from talking. So I did pick up quite a few books from Book Outlet. I don't really remember when I placed this order because it's been like just sitting there for a while. This says January, so it's May. So this has been sitting there for quite a while. So the first thing I picked up was the cute. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book has been absolutely everywhere, and people are deeming it like one of the best books they've ever read, and I'm so excited to dive into it because I have been really loving like contemporaries at the moment. I think I've been loving them more than fantasy, but I also think that that's because I'm still in school right now, and I'm doing like a semester that's supposed to be 14 weeks. I'm doing it in 3.5 weeks. So I really don't, I'm not in the mood for fantasies because I want to like, I can't dive into another world right now when my world is like all over the place. So I picked this one up. Now the sequel to this book just came out this month, and I still have not read the first one. I believe they're like companion novels. So this is 99 Days by Katie Cotugno. I picked up another Emma Mills book. I picked this one up first clearly because I bought this one back in January, and this is This Adventure Ends. Julie from Pages and Pens absolutely loved this book and said that it was like one of her favorite YA books she's ever read. And I know this one also has a beautiful cover. Like, who does her covers? Because man, they are absolutely beautiful. So one of these books was like thrown into that box because I had it just sitting there, and I actually got this one at Half Price Books as well. And this is Before She Ignites by Jodi Meadows. I've heard a lot of people talk about this as well, mainly because it has a main character in a fantasy novel that is a person of color, which I absolutely live for. So I had to pick this one up, and it was the only copy they had on their shelf. And HPB does this thing, if you guys don't have a Half Price Books near you, they do this thing where like after a couple of months of a novel being released, they'll like decrease the price. So normally this book would be like $18 and it was only $8.99. It's still brand new. So those are the books that I typically pick up from there because I think it's a really good deal. Next I got Alex Approximately by Jane Jen Bennett. I'm getting all of these names wrong. And the only thing I know about this one is that it has to do with like emailing and not knowing each other and like teens meeting online. And I've read a couple of books like that recently. I read Attachments, which isn't emailing online, but it is kind of like that email love kinda. But I didn't really like that book. That's a spoiler for my wrap up. But Simon was like this, and I really loved Simon, so I hope this is more similar to that than it is to like Attachments, if that makes sense. The next book I got is by Casey West. I absolutely love Casey West. I think she writes some great contemporaries. I'm actually debating if I want to go ahead and pre-order her newest book because it comes out at the end of the month. But this is The Fill-In Boyfriend. This is one of those like, not cliche, but like those love stories that we all watch where like you have to be invited to a wedding or like something like that happens and you end up having somebody to be your pretend boyfriend or significant other for that event. And I know this is going to be super cute, super Casey West. I'm so excited for it. And I don't know, my sister says she wants to pick this one up because she's read P.S. I Like You and she actually really enjoyed it. So the next book that I picked up, I'm so excited for because I got this one from my library I think last year, and it was one of my favorite books that I read last year and I just needed my own copy, and it is Starfish by Kemi Dawn Bowman. I hope I pronounced that right, but I absolutely love this book. It has to do with a main character that does have very bad anxiety, and it does have a very toxic relationship with her mother, and it is not an easy book to read. But as far as how she felt and how her anxiety impacted her, I felt so represented in this novel, and for that reason I absolutely loved it. But I know that it is problematic because of that mother-daughter relationship, and for that reason it might not be everyone else's cup of tea. I picked up another Casey West book. I'm really like, when I read something from one author, it makes me want to go out and buy like all of their books, especially when I really liked it. So I got By Your Side by Casey West. I'm not sure what this one is about, but I just want to read everything that she's written because when I'm in a reading slump, I feel like Casey West can like really get me out of that slump. The next book I got is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. I've heard quite like good things about this book, but I've also heard that it's quite problematic in the fact that it has to do with a main character that does cut herself and she is depressed. So I really want to read this because I love like deeper contemporaries, especially when they have to deal with mental health, and I'm so happy that I got this book. Next I got All the Ways the World Can End, and this is by Abby Sher. I was covering the thing and I absolutely love this cover. I picked this one up from my library, but I couldn't get around to reading it. Story of my life. And I know this is like a darker contemporary and I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but it has to do with a main character whose father is dying. So I picked up a couple of sequels to books that I still haven't read, but they were such a good price that I decided I just had to go ahead and pick them up. So the first one I picked up was A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. I have no idea what this is about. It says that there is exclusive Target stuff in here. Stamped signature bookplate. I don't think this actually comes with a signature though. Oh wait, it's on the front. So that's cool. It's like an exclusive edition, but I haven't actually started the series. I know the new one, or like a novella, just came out this month. But if you guys, I have the other two back here. You probably can't, oh, you can see them like right here. So now I have the third book and I will be able to binge all of this. I actually think it would be fun to like take series that are very, very popular on YouTube and kind of like show you guys my reading process through them and like do a vlog style. So if you guys would want to see me doing it with this series, I totally can. The next book I got is also another second to a book I haven't read, and that is The Empress by S.J. Kincaid. This is the second to The Diabolic, which is all the way up there on my shelves. And I'm really excited to jump into this series as well. I don't know if this is a duology or a trilogy, so I guess I'll find out once I get into it. I don't want to like spoil myself for anything. I picked up another Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I actually was watching Natasha from Our Reading is Odd, and she was reading this book for, I think, Contemporary-a-thon, and she absolutely loved this book, and she was like crying while she was taking a bath, and I was just like, yes, I need to read this. And it is One True Loves, and I actually thought I was going to get the hardback edition, but I ended up getting the paperback, which I'm okay with because it's just like a floppy paperback. And the main character's name is Emma, and basically when she's like young, she marries her high school sweetheart, and I'm not sure what ends up happening, if he ends up like going on some sort of war or travel, but he ends up disappearing and he is presumed dead. And years go by, her life continues, she ends up falling in love with another man, and she now is engaged to him, and it turns out that her first love is actually alive. So that was enough to sell me, and I just know that I'm going to be absolutely torn apart, and I actually really want to read this in the bath too. I have a couple of bath bombs and I want to make like reading in my bath to be like something that I do more often to kind of like de-stress. The next book is The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. This is another novel that is like a darker contemporary, and it has to do with rape culture and rape in high school, where they are like accusing a kind of like a popular guy of rape and getting justice for it. So I'm really excited to read this one. It has to do with like a darker, more taboo subject in YA. So I have a couple more fantasies. The first one is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I heard a lot of people talk about this when it was first coming out. It's a super short fantasy, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it afterwards. Like no one actually reviewed it and loved it. And this also has to do with fairies, which you guys can see is clearly like the theme of all the fantasy that I picked up this month, is either like dragons or fairies. I don't know. I picked this one up because of Books and Lala. You guys know like Books and Lala, Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, and Natasha and Julie from My Readings Odd in Pages and Pens. They're like the people that I really watch and love on BookTube, and those are where like I get most of my suggestions from. So Books and Lala, really like this one, and it is First We Were Four by Alexandra Sirawi. I absolutely love this cover. It's stunning. And the only thing I know that this book is about a secret society in high school. That's it. So I have one book that's like more psych based, and the rest of them are going to be contemporaries. For you guys, like I said, I'm in a contemporary kick right now. So I got My Lovely Wife in the Psych Ward, and this is actually a memoir by Mark Lukac. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this is a memoir about mental illness, so I'm so excited to read this one. I love the sunset. You guys know that's like my thing for covers, and I hope it's really good and really gripping because it is being told from her husband's stand of view. Okay, so I have 4 contemporaries left. The first one is Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway. I have Robin Benway's other book. I can't remember the name of it. It is Far From the Tree. So I decided to pick this one up as well. I know this is like a really cute one, and I don't know what it's about, but I decided to pick it up. I picked up My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This is like about being in love with the boy next door, and I think that's absolutely so cute. I don't know if this is the book I was looking at the other day that had to do with cheating, and I really hope it's not, because there was one that like an author had came out with, and it was like being in love with the boy next door, and they were like kissing, but he has a girlfriend. And I don't think that this is it, but if you guys know if that's it, can you please let me know before I like waste my time? So the next book I got is Until It Fades by K.A. Tucker. And the reason I picked this up is because it says a modern day Cinderella story that will make you hope again. And I love Cinderella retellings. Cinderella stories in general are like my favorite, so I am so excited to read this one. I don't think I have read any other Cinderella stories, and the only one that I believe I own that is a Cinderella retelling is Cinder, but I haven't read that one yet. So the last book I have, sorry if you guys stuck around to this book, you guys are like real ones, because like this has been such a long video. And this is Whisper to Me by Nick Lake. I don't know what this is about. I know it's just like a summer romance, and I bought this book because of the cover. Like, yeah. And I was not expecting it to be so massive, especially for like a YA contemporary. It is over 500 pages. That's a lot of loving, because fantasy books are usually 500 pages, and I don't know what this book is going to be about that it is 500 pages long. Whew. Okay, I hope you guys had snacks for that because that was a long ass video and I'm so sorry. I need to do these more consistently so that way I don't have like 600 books to share with you guys. So thank you so much for those that have been watching, those that have been subscribing, commenting, everything. Thank you guys so much. I have noticed that I've gained quite a few, like 30 or so subscribers over the last couple of weeks. And I know to some that may not mean anything and that might not be like a big amount, but to me it absolutely means the world, and I can't believe that my channel has grown so much, especially since I haven't been posting that much lately. But I am trying to post more often and do like different videos because I want to have like an ambition and a joy to come to this channel. So thank you guys so much for those that have been here and have commented and watched, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!